Chapter 1. Application of Computer. Hi Charlie, how are you? Do you remember that computer can do many things? Hello Chitty, I am fine. Yes, I remember it. Come, I will recall and tell you again. In this chapter, Memory of a Computer. Units of memory. Storage devices. The computer stores all its data and information in its memory. The memory of a computer is made up of chips. It plays a very important role in the working of the computer. Memory of computer. The data and instructions that are entered into the computer system through input devices are to be stored in some storage devices. These storage devices are known as memory devices. The memory unit of the computer is divided into two categories: primary memory, secondary memory. Do you know Vinod Dham is popularly known as father of Pentium for his contribution to the development of the Pentium processor from Intel. Primary memory. Primary memory is also known as main memory or internal memory of the system. It consists of memory devices, RAM and ROM, which are necessary for the working of a computer system. It is present in the motherboard. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. It lies inside the system unit in the form of a chip, not longer than the span of your hand. It is used for storing the data temporarily during the working of the computer. The information is erased when the computer is turned off, so it is called volatile memory. RAM can transfer data to the CPU at a very high speed and allows it to write and rewrite on it any number of times. ROM stands for read-only memory. It is a special kind of memory chip. It contains the startup instructions for the computer burnt permanently on it at the time when a computer is manufactured. When the user switches on the computer, the first thing it does is to read instructions from the ROM. These instructions enable the computer to check for various input and output devices connected to the computer and load the operating system onto the ROM from the hard disk. Information stored in ROM is permanent in nature. That is, it holds the data even if the system is switched off. Do you know when the computer is turned on, the operating system is loaded onto RAM? Any software that we run is also loaded onto RAM. It means that a computer with more RAM will work faster than a computer with lesser RAM. Secondary memory. The secondary memory consists of storage devices such as CD or DVD, floppy, USB, and pen drive, etc. These memory devices are not essential for the working of a computer, but are required to store the work done on the computer permanently so that we can access the work whenever required. The secondary memory is also called external memory or auxiliary storage. Storage devices. The main function of these devices is to store the information. Some special types of devices. The hard disk is the primary storage device, which is located inside the computer system unit. All the work that we do on a computer by default gets stored in the hard disk. The compact disc and digital video disc are shiny circular discs that can store information. We need CD or DVD or drive to read the information stored in these disks, and CD or DVD writer to write data on it. Do you know James Russell invented the compact disc in 1965? The pen drive is a small storage device. One can easily carry it in pocket and it can store a large amount of data. It is getting very popular nowadays. The memory card or multimedia card is designed for portable devices like mobile phones and digital cameras in the form that can easily be removed from access by a computer. A multimedia card reader is required to read the data from this device. Most of the laptops come with inbuilt card reader. It is small in size. These are available with various storage capacity ranging up to 32 GB. Note: the floppy disk was first made in the year 1971 by IBM. It was known as memory disk. The Blu-ray disc is newly invented optical data storage device which is mainly used to store high-quality sound and movie data. These are scratch-resistant discs, so the storage, repeat, these are scratch-resistant discs, repeat, these are scratch-resistant discs, so the storing data on these discs is much safer than a CD or DVD. Depending upon the technology used for the storage of data, the secondary memory devices are of three types. Types of memory devices. Category: Flash. Description: Number 1. These devices use electrical signals to read and write data. Devices. Category: I'll repeat, flash memory devices. Number 2. Data can be read from them or written on them millions of times through the integrated USB drive. Number 3. Since USB drives have no moving parts, so they are also known as the solid-state storage devices. Category: Optical memory devices. Description: Number 1. To read and write data from these devices, we need the help of laser beam through a suitable drive. Devices. Category: Magnetic memory devices. Description: Number 1. These devices use a magnetic material to store data. Number 2. To write and read data from these devices, we need a drive. Note: flash-based hard disk drives are likely to replace the magnetic hard disk drives. Units of memory. We know that the distance between two objects is measured in millimeters, centimeter, meter, and kilometer. Similarly, we measure the computer memory in different units, as bits, bytes, and their multiples. The information in a computer is stored in the form of two digits, 0 and 1. These are called binary digits. Individually, they are known as bits and the set of these two numbers from bytes. Every secondary storage device stores data in bytes. If we write A, it will be stored in the computer memory as 1 byte. If we write apple, it will take 5 bytes. Even a space between words also counts as byte. Repeat, even a space between words also counts a byte. Multiples of bits and bytes are as follows. Memory size: 8 bits equal to 1 byte. 1024 bytes equal to 1 kilobyte KB. 1024 KB is equal to 1 megabyte MB. 1024 MB equals to 1 gigabyte GB. 1024 GB equals to 1 terabyte TB. 1024 TB is equal to 1 petabyte PB. 1024 PB is equal to 1 exabyte 1 EB. 1024 EB equals to 1 zettabyte 1 ZB. 1024 ZB equals to 1 yottabyte 1 YB. Do you know 1 terabyte is equal to storing a stack of documents that is more than 16 times more input devices? In the previous class, we had learned that input devices are needed to provide instructions to the computer. This information is processed by the CPU and the output is shown on the output devices. Let us learn about input and output devices as well as the CPU in a little more detail. Number 1. A touchpad is a pointing device consisting of a special flat surface. You can control the movement of the pointer on the screen by moving your finger on the touchpad. Touchpads these days are being integrated with portable computers such as laptop, notebooks, etc. A touchscreen is a computer display screen that receives inputs by sensing the touch made by a user on the option menu directly without using any pointing device. You can see the touchscreen monitors in ATMs. Number 2. A trackball is similar to a mouse and can be used in its place. It has a ball on the top which is rolled with a finger to move the cursor on the screen. It has similar buttons as the mouse which perform similar functions. Magnetic Ink Character Recognition Barcodes, or MICR, is a character recognition technology used primarily by the banking industry to facilitate the processing of checks and makes up the routing number and account number at the bottom of a check. The technology allows computers to read information such as account numbers of printed documents. Unlike barcodes or similar technologies, however, MICR codes can be easily read by humans. A card reader is a data input device that reads data from a card-shaped storage used for communication with a smart card or a memory card. Let's do now. Visit your nearest ATM counter with your parents and observe the screen, whether it is touch screen or not. The OCR, optical character reader, works by scanning the characters on the page one by one and then compares them with characters stored in computer's memory. This process is called optical character reader matrix matching. A digital camera is used to capture photographs and record videos. Photos or videos taken with a digital camera are stored in a memory chip inside the camera and can be transferred to the computer for storing, editing, printing, etc. Light pen is used for drawing objects directly on the screen. It allows to point the option on the screen by simply pointing. It is a pen-shaped pointing device. It is mostly used by engineers, architects, designers, etc. so that they can directly draw sketches on the screen. The processor, CPU. It has three main parts: the control unit, CU, that controls the flow of data inside the computer; the arithmetic logic unit, ALU, that performs the mathematical calculations and the logical operations required for the processing of data; the memory unit, MU, that stores information permanently or temporarily. Tips. Despite various shapes, the CPU contains similar things inside the cabinet, that is CD or DVD drive, reset button, power switch, etc. The process of working of computer. The user inputs data and instructions through input devices. From input devices, data and instructions are captured by the CU of the CPU. The CU uses the RAM to temporarily store inputs as well as final results of processing output. The CU checks the input and sends them to the ALU for further processing if any mathematical or logical computation is involved. The ALU performs the required mathematical and logical calculations and produces the output. User, input device, CU, ALU. The CPU, RAM, output device, storage device, user. The CU retrieves the processed data from the ALU and stores it in the RAM. The CU then extracts the output from the RAM and sends for appropriate output device. The output device shows the result to the user. The user can give instructions to save the work permanently done onto the storage device. Practical time. Draw a flowchart of the process of working of computer system and paste it in your computer lab. The output devices. We have studied about 3 output devices: monitor, speakers and printers in our previous classes. CRT monitor, LCD monitor. Let us now learn a little more about printers now. The printer is used to print hard copy output on paper. There are many types of printers such as dot matrix printer, inkjet printer, laser printer, thermal printer, etc. The dot matrix printer works like a typewriter and creates impression on the paper. It is very noisy but less expensive. It is commonly used to print bills, receipts, etc. The inkjet printer uses liquid ink which is sprayed out by tiny nozzles onto paper. Generally, color inkjet printers have 4 colors of ink, says cyan, magenta, yellow and black, CMYK. They generate hundreds of different colors by mixing these 4 colors. The laser printer uses a beam or laser to print data onto paper. It is mostly used in publishing houses. It prints very fast and produces high quality output. A thermal printer produces a printed image by selecting heat-coated thermal paper. These printers print more quietly and usually faster than dot matrix printer. Practical time. Write how many bytes will be required to store the following. Number 1, computer, equal to dash bytes. Number 2, computer is great, equal to dash bytes. Chapter backup. The memory of a computer is made up of chips. The storage device is known as memory. The primary memory consists of RAM and ROM. Information stored in RAM is temporary. Information stored in ROM is permanent in nature. The secondary memory devices are not essential for the working of a computer. The Blu-ray disc is newly invented optical data storage device which is mainly used to store high-quality sound and movie data. The information in a computer is stored in binary digits 0 and 1. The set of 0 and 1 forms byte. Every secondary storage device stores data in bytes. Devices which are used to enter data and instructions are called input devices. Devices that display the input and the information are called output devices. The CPU has 3 main parts: CU, ALU and MU. Exercises.